Village of Stewart respectfully acknowledge that we are gathered here on the land of the unceded territory of the Comox First Nation, the traditional keepers of this land. We'll call the meeting to order. Public question period. Public input is for the purpose of permitting people in the gallery to provide feedback. Shall be no longer than 15 minutes unless approved by the majority vote of council. Each speaker may provide a respectful comment on any topic deemed appropriate and not necessarily on the topics of the agenda of the meeting. Each speaker may not speak longer for 2 minutes and may have a second opportunity if time permits. Each speaker must not be allowed to speak regarding a bylaw in respect to which a public hearing has been held. For the record, you would state your name and address, please. Nope. Nope. Okay. Introduction of late items. You were handed the introduction of the property tax requisition impact to residential properties from the CBRD. Okay, we can put that late into correspondence. To Debbie. To Councillor Coates.
Pardon me?
Mr. Mayor, I do have a late item as well.
Okay, let me just put it into correspondence under
Okay.
J. Okay, and your late item, Councillor Johnson?
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to discuss a staff appreciation line on the 2025 budget. And if we can add that to 15 new business.
Okay, so do we have a motion to receive those two?
That.
Second,
I'll second that.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One opposed? The motion is carried. Councillor Burchett. Okay, approval of agenda. That the agenda for the regular council meeting held on February 4th, 2025 be adopted as amended. Motion, please.
I'll move that.
You.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Minutes of previous. That the minutes of the regular council meeting held on January 21st, 2025 be adopted as presented.
Move that.
Second,
I'll second that.
discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. B, that the minutes of the regular council meeting held October 3rd, 2023 be adopted as presented.
Move that.
Second,
I'll second that.
discussion?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Discussion? Councillor Paulson. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. C, that the minutes of the special council meeting held October 24th, 2023 be adopted as presented.
Move that.
Thank you. Second,
I'll second that.
thank you. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? None, motion is carried. If I miss the people online, please speak up. It's hard to see. And Councillor Coates, you're very dark. Suntan. There you go. Petition and delegations, BC Farmer Association, Brian Kingslet, Executive Director, Michelle France, Manager of Communications, Partnership and Communications. You have the floor for 10 minutes, folks.
Thank you very much for having us here today. Sorry that due to the snow that I didn't come up to Sayward, so we'll look forward to seeing you guys in person again. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, great. So I'll try and be quick. We're just checking in with all the mayors and councils on the North Island, just to give you guys an update on what's happening with the salmon farm sector and the federal transition plan. So I will share my screen. That's okay, just to give you a couple of graphics. And that's not working for me. Hang on. That should. Do you see a nice picture of your area on that now?
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay. All right. So what I wanted to give you an update on was, as you know, we were in the federal, last June, the federal government announced that we had 5 years to either move to land or fully close containment. We've been working very diligently on trying to sort that out, exactly what that means. The long and short of it, in the end, interest of being brief, is that it's sent a very severe investment uncertainty, and the sector right now has reponded fish, and the companies are looking very hard at whether they will remain in Canada. So it's not whether we have 5 years to remain to get to those objectives. It's until the investment, the capital flees British Columbia, because the position that the federal government has put us in basically is not achievable under any financial. That's going to have very significant impacts on Vancouver Island, and those are things we're working very hard to avoid. Now, I'm going to come to where we see some light at the end of the tunnel, but hang on, there we go. In December, we issued, some of you may see this, we have, Michelle has forwarded it to you for your information, but we did an economic report of what the costs of getting rid of the salmon farming industry on Vancouver Island would be. Presented that in Ottawa with some of our First Nation partners in December. But basically, it boils down to the cost of getting rid of the industry will basically result in about a $9 billion bill to Canadian taxpayers. We're right now, even after a 40% reduction because of the Broughton Islands and the Discovery Islands closures, we're still producing about $1.17 billion in economic activity and over $400 million in gross domestic product a year, putting $133 million into First Nation communities and about over 4,500 jobs at risk. And we're still producing about 50,000 tons of farm-raised Canadian salmon that are producing export jobs and helping with food security. So that's kind of what's on the line right now. And, the result has been a lot of anxiety within the sector. We have put forward, prior to the decision, have put forward, and as you're aware, the transition is about threats to wild salmon, or perceived threats to wild salmon. We've been assessed as having only minimal risk to wild salmon. But further demonstrating that we can further reduce potential risks has been a major part of the BC salmon farming sector. We put forward a responsible plan that had very aggressive targets that we felt that we could meet around things like sea lice, around disease screening, other technologies that would require significant investments by the companies that have not been put in place because of the investment certainty. And under that plan, we actually believe that the sector can continue to grow And this is becoming pretty critical right now while British Columbia is in a $9.5 billion deficit, and the Canadian deficit overshot their $40 billion ceiling by an extra $20 billion, and we're sitting at a $60 billion federal deficit. So we feel we are making the pitch that we can contribute to that. And by 2030, if we were given a green light to continue to follow that responsible plan, that we could do $2.5 billion in output and $930 million in GDP and produce or $560 million in wages, mostly on the northern Vancouver Island. So, and 10 years after that, more than $4.2 billion in output. And what that looks like is on this figure here, and you guys have all got this now, so I'm going to hurry so I can take some questions from you, this is where the sector was pre-2019, the before the Broughton and the Discovery Island decisions, producing almost $2 billion in economic output and almost 7,500 jobs. If the Discovery Islands decisions, we lost a lot of economic output, and if we lose the sector, this is the negative impacts that this is going to have as we join other resource industries that have collapsed or reduced on Vancouver Island. But we are pitching to government right now, and of course, as you're aware, the political situation in Canada and British Columbia is a little bit fluid right now with what's happening federally and what's happening with the Trump tariffs. We believe that we could actually be a major part of the Vancouver Island economy and are making that pitch. And I would say the same thing to you, that the challenge that we gave to I've now met several times with Premier Eby and discussed this, is that right now the BC salmon farming sector is basically facing this $9 billion loss, but we could also, with a green light, would bring back over $1 billion in capital onto Vancouver Island almost immediately. And I can't think of any other natural resource sector that is prepared with no subsidy or government help to actually bring significant capital onto northern Vancouver Island. And that's sort of the situation we see where we are now. So where last year was a bit of a kick in the teeth when we were given the ban, we now see that there's some opportunities as government is starting to realize just how critical the natural resource sector is in generating jobs, generating food security, generating our export dollars, and being a bit of a negotiating part with food security all over Canada, and contributing to that with what's happening with the now Trump in power in the U.S. So that's where we find ourselves. We're working extremely hard to protect the industry, try and protect those jobs. As you can imagine, anxiety within the companies and the employee base is pretty significant. We are still seeing layoffs throughout northern Vancouver Island. The Browns Bay, you're familiar with, laid off over 100 people last year and are now starting to bring some people back. The Port Hardy processing plant just closed down for 3.5 months. That's the first time it's closed since the 1990s when it was opened. So we're working very hard to sort of hang on to those jobs, hang on to those people. It's been a very difficult go, and what's happening right now is that hopefully we're still officially in the whole of government process to review transition, where they're basically trying to figure out how they could support the sector, support employees, and they've been talking to suppliers and companies, First Nations and communities, and hopefully the program being led by Parliamentary Secretary Ryan Turnbull has met with the Sayward Mayor and Council. But I can tell you right now, since Parliament was prorogued and then Justin Trudeau resigned, we sort of feel we're kind of left a little bit in the dark right now on where that whole transition process is, to be honest. In theory, it is still proceeding, but it's a bit of a lame duck. We expect that best call is that Parliament, or sorry, federal Parliament will be returned in March. At some point, they're going to drop a budget. There's going to be a non-confidence vote. We'll have a new Liberal leader, and then we'll probably go directly into an election, probably in April, unless something happens with the NDP, and then it goes to the mandatory in October. So one way or another, we're looking at an election in Canada. That's going to have important repercussions for the salmon farm sector. We're talking to all parties right now. We're reaching out to the liberal candidates, and we're talking to the Conservatives right now, trying to make sure that we can sort of bring some logic to this transition. So that's kind of my, in a very nutshell, quick presentation. So hopefully that left enough time for a few questions.
Thank you. Council, any questions? Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. Appreciate the information, Brian. My question for you is, of the North Island, and let's call that Campbell River up, with the nations, are there any nations that are not supportive of going forward? And my second question for you is the number of jobs. I don't know if you have any of that information for Campbell River up. If not, that's fine. I totally appreciate that.
We have that in the full economic. So I'll start with the jobs. We have that in the full economic analysis, and I don't have that in front of me. And maybe while I answer the next question, Michelle can pull it up for me, because if I pull it out of my brain, it'll be wrong. As part of the nation, so it's an interesting time between the nations right now. So we have 17 First Nations that are under agreement with the industry, and we've been doing transformative work within those communities, taking some from extremely high unemployment to very high employment. And those nations are actually fighting very hard to keep the industry. And so examples of that are the Quatsino Nation, the Gwasla-Nakwada, Mochut Mushlat, Hattisat on the West Coast, Colloquiate, Howzit are some of the ones. We have other nations, like the Broughton nations, like the Namgis and Hamulko, who are opposed to the industry. And that split has, I'll be honest, has been exacerbated by anti-agriculture activists. The nations are having their own discussions between nations, but it is very much a split between nations that are very much involved and looking to try and maintain the industry, and nations that are not receptive to the industry. So we, as a sector, have left the territories of the nations that do not want salmon farming. And that's part of us embracing UNDRIP and making sure that we have consent wherever the sector is operating. Michelle, were you able to pull that number while I was?
Yeah, Campbell River up is 1,697 jobs.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Brian, where does the Conservative Party sit in regards to fish farms?
So right now, I guess the best way to assess that is, so they're mixed by individual MPs, but overall, the best way to describe that is a meeting that we had last fall with a senior Conservative candidate who said, don't come to us with your problems. We've heard your problems in the sector many times. Tell us what you would be able to do for us if we give you a green light. So right now, Aaron Gunn in your riding has stated at a last public meeting that Canada has world-class regulations around fish farming, and if the sector is meeting all those regulations, then they should be able to proceed. We have a very strong Chris McNichol running in the Mid-Island, a very strong proponent of salmon farming, and Tamara Cronus in the Nanaimo region on the island here has done a lot of due diligence around the sector. She was not familiar with it. She's met with most of the supply companies in the Nanaimo area. She's toured salmon farms and hatcheries with Mowi Canada West in Port Hardy and the hatcheries up along north of Campbell River, and she's become a very strong supporter of the salmon farm sector.
Thank you very much. Council, any additional questions? No, thank you very much for your presentation tonight, Councillor Johnson.
Oh, I just wanted to thank you as well. I appreciate the presentation and the information you provided.
Well, thank you for having us, and I apologize again for not coming up on this greasy day. Lots of my meetings got canceled. But anytime that you would like us to come up and sit down with you, or you have further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself or Michelle or the association at any time. And we'd be happy to answer any questions or meet with you and supply and keep you updated with any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. You have a
Okay.
good evening.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks for having us.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay. So the delegation to be received. Do I have a motion, please?
With that,
Second,
I'll second that.
discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
No.
See, one opposed? Councillor Burchett's opposed. Okay, motion is carried. Correspondence. A through J to be received.
I'll move that.
Second,
if to receive it. Yes. Yes, I'll second.
thank you. Discussion? Go ahead.
Would like to pull E and F, as there is ass in both of those pieces of correspondence.
Okay, anyone else? E and F. Okay, all in favor of receipt? Opposed to E and F? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Okay, go ahead with E.
Okay, and E, this is in regards to the correspondence we received from Canada Post. There is an ask therein to potentially give submission on behalf of the municipality and it may be wise for a community of our size who relies on this service to do a submission.
Right? Any additional comments? Go ahead.
So I guess, you know, I would be interested in the council's take on whether some direction to staff would be to give that submission as requested.
Okay, so do you want to do a motion and we'll vote on it?
Sure. Motion to direct staff to do a brief submission of the importance of our postal service here in Sayward.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Thank you. Now F.
F is from Heritage BC. Heritage BC is important for our community. There is a comment in this correspondence that for the very low price of $100 per year, that opens up to some of their information and webinars. I do see value in that. So my motion would be that we do in fact submit $100 for that service through Heritage BC.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Discussion? Councillor Brolson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would also like to suggest that we forward that information to the Sayward Historical Society, who is becoming more and more active all the time on Facebook, and they're gaining new members. So it might be something that they would be interested in picking up and working along with. Thank you.
Okay, so all in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Okay, so to receive E and F for receipt. Correct?
I thought you did that already.
No, we pulled E and F. It was excluding. That's okay.
Move that.
Second,
I'll second that.
discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Johnson.
Pardon me, Mr. Mayor, I do see item D that there is a second motion to receipt on that particular piece of correspondence.
Okay, can you read that, please?
That council directs the CAO to attend and support the work of the committee and report back to council.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? Councillor Paulson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I read through these terms of reference, and it said no more than 2 directors from the valley or from the regional district and 2 from the municipalities. So I'm wondering if this has been set up already and it's ready to go. Also, I'd like to know what the parameters of the length of the committee is so that we can understand how quickly this is going to move ahead to get some answers.
There's been no time frame put on the committee, but the committee's first meeting is going to be on February 19th. Is the committee's first meeting. So all that will be discussed at that point. You're welcome. Anything else? Council reports? None. Reported committee? None. Mayor's report, there was, I didn't touch on it in correspondence, but just to summarize real quick, the late correspondence coming in for the property tax requisition impact to residential property was from the CVRD. And basically it's going up 10%, which is 11 cents per thousand is what the average household is going to be charged. So the house that's valued at 373,000 would be 4110 would be the increase. The original increase was going to be at 20%. Luckily, we got it down to 10, which is still not where we wanted it to be for some of us. But that's where it ended up in the vote. So to receive the mayor's report, do you have a motion, please?
Move that.
Second,
I'll second that.
discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Unfinished business. Municipal service agreement recommendation where the village and the Strathcona Regional District as an existing municipal service agreement for the provision of services which expired. And whereas the council previously directs staff to engage the SRD with the intention of renewing this agreement to further period, therefore it be resolved that council approves the renewal of the municipal service agreement with the Strathcona Regional District and that the mayor and the acting CAO be authorized to execute the agreement on behalf of the village. Can I have a motion, please?
Move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? I'm sorry, Councillor Burchett, I couldn't see one way or another. Opposed or in favor? Okay, thank you. Then the motion is passed. Staff reports, regional grant opportunity. UBCM Emergency Operations Center, that the report from the acting CAO be received. Do I have a motion, please?
Move that.
Second,
Second that.
discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. And that part of the Village of Sayward ongoing work in relation to emergency planning and the application for financial assistance under the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund of 2025 Emergency Operations Grant Center, Center Grant, be authorized for submission to UBCM in collaboration with the Strathcona Regional District, and that the Village of Sayward agrees that the Strathcona Regional District submitting an application on their behalf, and if funded, agrees the Strathcona Regional District managing the grant and being the recipient of all funding. Do I have a motion, please?
Move that.
Second,
I'll second that.
discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. B, grant application. Disc golf recommendation. Whereas the Outdoor Recreation Council of BC offer grant funding to support community recreation incentives, pardon me. Therefore, it be resolved that council directs staff to proceed with submitting a grant application for the Outdoor Recreation Council for BC for development and disc golf course within the village, and that the village commits to providing a matching contributions fund of 50%, totaling $4,000 to support the project in 2025. Do I have a motion on that, please?
I'll move that.
Second,
I'll second that.
discussion. Councillor Paulson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a little typo here, I hope, where the last paragraph at the bottom of the staff report on the first page, the fourth bullet from the bottom, it says affordable and accessible can be accessed from dusk till dawn. I think we might want to reverse that because I don't know how many people want to come out in the middle of the night. So if that could just be corrected. Thank
People with
you.
the dark frisbees. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. A couple of questions on this one. Have we established, first question is, have we established the area where this would be? So my concern is we've got a ball field that's used and particularly used for a key event. We've got a campground that certainly isn't going to be a great place for that. And then as I read the amount of space required for this activity, and with the full acknowledgement that we have support from the school, which that letter of support holds a lot of weight, which is great. We also had some information provided to us that Campbell River's setup is highly successful, which I also appreciate. But I don't know how much demand there is here. And when we have a 50-50 grant, that's a less good grant. But second to that, there is always carrying costs whenever we pursue something. So, not all grants are great grants, and I don't know if this one is or not, but I'd love to find out. So, first of all, where would we put this setup that requires a fair amount of space and flying objects?
CAO.
That hasn't been finalized, but some of the discussions that have taken place at managers meeting was the on-groom space just north of the ball field, which historically I understand used to be cut by the village, but hasn't been for a number of years.
That's correct. That's kind of where the area that when we discussed it at the strategic planning. So then it could be maintained and also play disc golf.
Okay. And that area that's identified would not impede anything to do with the ball diamond. Is that correct?
Correct. My opinion.
Okay. And for the use of this grant, it's not specifically mentioned for disc golf. There was also talk about pickleball conversion for tennis court, but we've gone this direction. is this the right direction? And it may be, I'm just asking the questions.
Council? Councillor Paulson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've been in Campbell River and seen some of the disc holes or pots or baskets. And there's one at the big recreation park, and it's kind of right along the sidewalk and close to the bush, but it's could be thrown from the access street. So I think the position of it, even if they were on the ball field, but not in directly on the ball field, they could be accessed because those fields are only accessed for certain times of the year, and it just wouldn't be possible to play at those times when games are going on. So I support this idea. I think it's a good idea. I think the tennis court property, we may want to look at developing something else there. So I would have to say we could look at the part of the school too, to have access there. So yeah, I think I will support this grant opportunity motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Coates?
I'm just wondering about the money part of it. Is this $4,000 going to be added on to the proposed budget, or will it come within the budget of the recreation center? Or is it going to be added? You know what I mean? Like,
One moment, CAO.
It's going to be added, and I fully recognize that council will have some decisions to make, which would include cutting the deficit, which would mean making changes to programs. And yes, but it will be added to the deficit is the answer to your question.
So we don't know where the money's coming from? Nope. Councillor Johnson? Councillor Burchett?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. What about a user fee if the rec center holds the frisbees and it's a user fee $5 per round, $10 per round per group, whatever? We could collect the user fees and recover some of the money.
Maybe that's an idea. Councillor Johnson?
Yeah, I just thinking more on this. Whenever we add something to the deficit, we have to take something off. And so I love the ideas that we are looking for more activity for Sayward. We absolutely need it. I just suggest that perhaps we investigate a grant that would be more funded than what we're seeing with this one. And I'm not sure now is the absolute time when we're cutting back significantly. Just food for thought on that as we navigate these tough decisions.
Anybody else? Councillor Paulson? Councillor Coates right after.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm wondering if we can have a look at some of the grants that are still outstanding, that like for community revival or community growth grants, and having a game or activity such as this would get people outside more and not be confined to in the buildings. So I would suggest that we take a look at those grants that we have, if it's possible to fund our 50% out of this grant. out of that fund. Thank you.
When is the deadline for the grant? 23rd?
Oh, no, sorry.
February 20th, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
February 20th. Counselor Johnson?
Without wanting to put anybody on the spot, I would ask staff, staff, would you recommend proceeding with this grant based on the information we have today and knowing our finances?
There's a pass the buck.
Exactly. I'll pass it right back to say council makes the hard decisions. Staff have brought forward an idea. The grant opportunity is not 100% funded. Is it the best thing to do? That depends on what council's priorities are. At the end of the day, the budget has to be balanced. Things have to be cut or deferred for a future year when capacity, when financial resources allows. And that's okay. It's not saying no, it's saying not right now. But as for my opinion, I don't have one.
Yeah, the reason I asked that question is obviously you've got an understanding of you know, staff's opinion, particularly of the rec center. Definitely some passion there. I just and I thank you for passing it back. I just don't know now is the right time. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I'm just concerned about where we're going to get the $4,000 from and what we have to cut. Counselor Coates? And then
No,
Counselor
Councillor
Bichette.
Bichette had his hand up.
First,
Councillor Bichette
sorry.
had his hand up. I did not.
Okay, Counselor Bichette.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We now have a full kindergarten class, and the kids are going to grow up here in Sayward, full classes right through to grade 6, 7. We need healthy outdoor activities for kids to do in Sayward, and having a disc golf course is something that not only promotes a healthy lifestyle for the kids in our community, but also adults and tourists alike. So I think it's really important that we provide more activities for people in Sayward, especially for the kids.
Thank you. Counselor Coates.
I agree. It's great for the kids. It's also great for middle-aged and elderly people, and it's a great sport. But right now, with the decisions that we have to make with this budget, as much as I'd love to support this and I would be out there using it, it came to a vote. I just can't agree right now because we don't know where the money's coming from.
I don't disagree. I think the timing is off, in my opinion. Okay. Any other comments before we go to vote? Call the question. Oh, Counselor Coates.
Oh, it's just a comment. I would like to thank staff for everything that they've done and everything that they presented to us. So just as long as that acknowledgement goes forward through the CAO, I would appreciate that on my behalf.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Johnson.
Sorry, I want to echo this too, and staff bringing grants forward. Not all of them will be approved, but certainly that momentum should never stop. So please pass that on to staff.
Okay, so as far as the motion is concerned, we have another Counselor Bichette.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Like I said earlier, it's not a lot of money, and if we can get some money back from renting out the Frisbees, we could generate revenue, and we could also supply activities while the Kelsey Center is closed in summer. So don't look at this necessarily as a net loss, but as something that helps grow the community, and we can recover costs through renting out Frisbees.
Okay, now we'll go to vote. All in favor? Opposed? 3 opposed. The motion is defeated. Kelsey Center boiler replacement project. Whereas the failure of both boilers at the Kelsey Center has created an urgent need for replacement to maintain the building's operation for occupancy safety. Whereas the estimated cost of replacing both boilers is $123,000 with potential partial insurance coverage pending. Whereas funding in the is available through the Growing Communities Fund and the gas tax, with staff recommending an equal split between both sources. Therefore, let it be resolved that council approves the boiler replacement project for the Kelsey Center in its 2025 budget with funding's 50-50 split between the Growing Communities Fund and the gas fund, and that the CAO be authorized to direct and award a contract to expedite the completion of the project as soon as possible. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll move that.
Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Discussion. Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, this one's really difficult, and it's difficult for a variety of reasons. The first one is you know, we know that the price of replacement of boilers is partly due to some unfortunate decisions of the past. I do understand that. I do understand that upsizing the boilers is absolutely required for continued pool and hot tub operations. Understand that. I also understand that these boilers are propane fired. And I do understand that our long-term vision is to try and move the Kelsey Center away from propane due to the incredible price of this commodity. And nothing is going to happen overnight on that. That's fully understood. What I'm struggling with on this particular front is there is a sense of urgency due to the fact that we don't have hot water, and this is our heating system as part of this panel. That said, I also struggle with the cost of this because we are still we are still at the point where we are navigating through some difficult questions as it relates to operating budgets. A pool in our community is a fantastic amenity. That can't be questioned. The closure of such an amenity would probably result in us not having one again, and I understand that. My question, though, is for staff is, can the heat and hot water to bathrooms be brought online without a full replacement of double boilers while we sort of take the time, and particularly considering the SRD has formed a committee to examine this, can that be done as an interim solution?
CAO.
Unfortunately, I can't answer that question. I would have to take that back and get someone to do an assessment of the system again and explore that specific question.
Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, because if I do the math on this, the boiler life is 15 years, according to some estimates. Certainly, you can get more or less life out of those things. So when you do the math on 15 years at this spend, you've got you're approaching $9,000 a year for boiler costs, chemicals, staffing. So I think, you know, it does warrant discussion, and let me be clear, it guts me to even go down this road. It's a discussion that this council has had to face for several years now. But okay, so if we can't get that answer, what are the implications then? If I guess my question is how long do we think we can get how long would it take to get an answer back on whether those things can be separated? Because I know time is of the essence here.
The process I would have to go through is to contact Rocky Point Engineering. They may have a simple answer. They may not. They had, when they visited us earlier in January, they took with them the building schematics. So I don't know if it is in a state of condition, whether it's accurate or whether, additional works that have been done since the building was constructed have been captured in those drawings. So I don't know if they're going to need to come back on site and do additional inspection to answer that specific question, or if they're in a position to answer that remotely. A request like this could easily take a week to 2 weeks to get an answer, plus a week to 2 weeks for them to come on site, plus an additional week to 2 weeks to get the answer from their report.
Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got 123,000 reasons to maybe ask that question. It would be my opinion that that's a question worth asking, because if we've got more, if we've got more information, we can make more informed decisions. And okay, I'll leave it there. I see Councillor Burchett's got.
Councillor Burchett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to thank staff for getting quotes together and putting in the hard work to create a plan to fix the boilers at the Kelsey Center properly. And I'm 100% for this fix. We should do it right. We should not let our assets devalue by this delaying of fixing and providing staff with proper working conditions as per WorkSafe, and also to provide our constituents with an operating recreation center that has value. So I'm 100% for this, and we should just go ahead, fix it right so we don't have the same problems and repeat the errors of the past.
Thank you. Councillor Paulson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm looking for the sheet of paper where there was the costing of previous repairs to the boilers that are deceased
That was
now. And when I look at this, having the boilers replaced with double the BTU production, then I'm just wondering if there would be a reduction in the cost of use of propane, because it would be more efficient for the two boilers, the two new boilers having to heat the water. And if we compare or take a look at the list of repairs that had to be done over the years to the other two, even though there is a 15-year life expectancy for these new boilers, it may be that they will last longer because there'll be less stress on them for producing the heat and hot water for everything that the Kelsey Center needs. So I don't want to hold my breath waiting for changes from propane to some other product. And we all know how long those kind of things take. And so I would suggest that we, with the demand for the Kelsey Center use and the increased use it's getting, as well as the proposal, the committee for the Kelsey Center, whether it will be taken in as a regional asset, that we go ahead and get it repaired as soon as we can. Thank you.
Anyone else? Councillor Burchett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One thing that council really needs to consider is that in 30 days, there could be a possible 25% tariff on parts. And if we delay this fix, 25% puts us over $160,000 for the same fix. We should just get it done before prices skyrocket.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? I understand completely where Councillor Johnson is coming from. However, I'm torn. I believe that this is a fix that's necessary to do at this time. So I will be supporting the boiler replacement project. Okay, so we'll take it to a vote. All in favor? Opposed? 2 opposed. The motion is carried. Emergency Service, Public Works, Recreation Department reports. Recreation Department statistics, December 2024. Recommendation that council receives this report for information. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll move it.
Second,
I'll second that.
discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Sorry, Councillor Coates, are you opposed?
No,
No?
I was in
Okay.
favor.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Financial Department update. The council receives this report for information. Motion, please.
I'll move that.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Councillor Johnson?
Big congratulations to Finance. Great work on recovering penalties. Much appreciated.
Agreed. Okay,
Agreed.
further discussion? Oops. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Bylaws, none. New business, Councillor Johnson. Your late item, yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to put a motion in. There has been some conversation in and around us recognizing staff. It's very clear that our budget, we continue to work on it, but without recognition of staff, their accomplishments, and allowing a budget for them to get together, I think is an oversight for council. That is some of the best money we can spend. Staff are absolutely our strongest asset. So my motion that I'd like to put in is that we establish a $6,000 budget per annum, which if you just look at the sum, it seems like a lot of money. But I will tell you that a Christmas function alone, for the amount of staff that we have working for the municipality, can easily take up half that budget. This budget would be for things like sending flowers to those that have unfortunate circumstances and other ways of recognizing staff at the staff's discretion. So I would like to put that motion forward. Thank you.
Okay, so do you want to make the motion, please?
My motion is that we designate $6,000 per annum to a new budget line item called staff appreciation.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? Councillor Bichette?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe we already have some staff recognition in place with regards to how long people have worked and if there's some issues with health. So I don't really think we need to add another line item. I think what's going on recently with the chatter about staff recognition, we should literally leave that to the hands of the CAO and staff to make those decisions. So I'm not in favor of this at all because we already have things in place that recognize staff and contributions and length of time served by people that have worked here.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, so Councillor Coates?
Excuse me. I I agree with Councillor Burchett that there's things in place already for the staff. Again, it's budget time. $6,000 to me is a lot of money. I appreciate the staff. I thank the staff whenever I see them. And I just think right now, is not the time that we need to be adding. If we want to take 6,000 out of administration for that line, I'd be for that. Or if we take it out somewhere, but we just can't keep adding more money and adding more money, you guys. We're at a deficit of $78,000 for this proposed budget with no money going to reserves. And I think it's time that we tighten our belts. Thank you.
Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, we'll confirm with staff here in a second, but I don't believe that there is any budget line item for staff appreciation. And we can say that we can leave it up to staff, but without the financial backing to do this, their hands are tied. I will remind council that there was conversations around one staff member, contractor, staff member, doesn't matter, funding an event for staff. I don't believe that is right in any circumstances. I will also remind council that it was 2 or 3 staff members that actually caught a major situation in our mechanical room, thereby saving somewhere in the neighborhood of $100,000 in potential more damage. Therefore, when you put that beside a $6,000 sum, it seems rather insignificant.
I agree with Councillor Johnson. I think it's a good idea to have a line item and for the proposed budget. So we'll call the vote. Oh, you have something, Councillor Paulson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the mayor to the CFO, I'm just wondering if the administration line has a drop-down budget where it can show the wages and things for different people, and the a line could be included in that, under that heading. So when like these occasions or recognitions don't come up regularly, or they could come up, we could get several of them in a few months and then none for a while. So I wonder if it could be included in the overall administration budget. Thank you.
CFO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I just wanted to let council know that there is a policy in place for staff appreciation, council appreciation. It talks about retirements, resignations for council. I don't have the policy with me, obviously, but I can email it to council so you can have a look at it to refresh your memory. That being said, even though there's a policy in place, there isn't a budget in place. So in years past, there have been staff and council that have left the village, and the policy, we haven't purchased gifts or followed the policy because there hasn't been a budget, to be blunt. So yes, there isn't, Councillor Johnson, there isn't a line item. Councillor Paulson, we can certainly have a line item in administration for those types of items. And I can put that into the next budget version for you to look at, and maybe at that point a decision could be made. Thank you. Sorry, the CAO just was asking about professional development. I believe the line item for admin is 5,000 for professional development, so travel and education. And then there's also a separate line item in the recreation center for the same thing. I'm not sure what the number is, what the figure is, but I can get that to you for the next budget meeting. Okay. Thank you.
Councillor Johnson? No. Councillor Burchett?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to CFO Lisa Clark, thank you for clarifying that we do have a policy in place. I think we should defer this to budget planning, throwing this as a late item at the end of our agenda for a quick discussion. It should be a thorough discussion if we're gonna add a line item to the budget, and should be done with budget planning, not thrown in a meeting like this. Thank you.
Counselor Coates, you had your hand up?
I'm good. Thank you.
I think the reason for the urgency is because of, from the email exchange earlier. So that would be why.
Oh,
Okay. Sorry. Counselor Coates?
gifts have been bought. Gifts have been bought in the past, and if there was no line item for it, how were the gifts purchased through the village? So if there is a policy for that, and that has been done in the past, why can things like this not happen now? I guess that's what I'm saying.
CAO?
Good question, Councillor Coates. The way municipal budget operates is the most important factor is how much you're bringing in revenue does not, and your expense line item. And the most important thing is that staff does not overspend the bottom line of the budget. Individual departmental budgets, individual line items will go above and sometimes will be underspent, underutilized. And that is normal, as long as the total amounts at the end does not exceed what council approved. If it does, before the expense is incurred, we have to come to council for approval to incur the expense. So the individual line item is a managerial function. The bottom line is a council function.
Thank you, Counselor Johnson.
Yeah, I just want to say this. I think in the past, what's happened is, for individual gifts, retirements, these have all come before council for individual decision. That to me is not an efficient use of time. But I will also say that just because you have a budget doesn't mean you have to spend said budget. So this is to set a limit of spending before things would have to come to council. So again, I don't think we can put this one off. Thank you.
Agreed. Anybody else? Counselor Coates, we lost you. Oh, there? Or did we lose her? Oh, there you are.
No,
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so all in favor? Do you want to read your motion again, please?
Yep. That $6,000 is designated to a new line item on the 2025 budget and the financial plan for staff appreciation.
Okay, so all in favor? Those opposed? Motion is defeated. Public question period. For the purpose of public question periods, need citizens to be able to ask a question to the council on issues that are important to the citizen asking the question. Speakers may be asked to limit their questions to one each. If time permits, everyone will have an opportunity to ask a second question. Citizens will be asked to state their name and address.
Sandy Ostertag at 120 Dyer Drive. I was just wondering, I was here at the last two meetings and we had the gentleman from Western come up and give you a little blurb on what they're planning on doing with our forest, and I just was hoping that you haven't put your blinders on and not realized what they said sounded good, but if you see what they're actually doing in person, I think you'd be shocked. And also there was a thing in the newspaper, take notice that this company from Ontario has applied to the Ministry of Water, Land and Resource Stewardship for the investigation license wind power situated on provincial crown land located west of Sayward, north of Highway 19, in the area surrounding and including Newcastle Ridge. Well, Newcastle Ridge is one of the mountains that we get our water from. That's where is our retention for water that's coming down. And they've already have logged over half of it and they're going on the backside of it now. So the water that usually comes from Newcastle Ridge is going to go straight into the river and out to the ocean because we don't have any reservoir left in our river, in the where we get our water from. That was destroyed. So I'm just was wondering if you guys are still gonna pursue and double check with them that they are true to their words, if they're going to do what they want, or are they gonna take us in consideration that we might not have maybe in 5 years, we won't have water because we don't have any retention. It's going straight down through the little creeks and all that and straight into the river and it's going out to the ocean. So I was hoping that maybe somebody would take a plan and maybe pursue more investigation, which would be
Okay.
very nice.
Okay, thank you. Okay, in camera, recommended resolution that in accordance with section 92 of the community charter, this council meeting will be closed to the public at this time. In order to have council considerations of the matter in accordance with the following sections of the community charter. 90-1C, labor relations and other employee relations. 90-1I, in the receiving the advice is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communication necessary for that purpose. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried.